It doesn't surprise me that people say racist things, but what surprises me is that they're so proud of themselves when they say it. But one statistic I see thrown around a lot is that 13% of the population commit 50% of the violent crime. That statistic actually talks about arrests and not convictions, so if 3 people are arrested in connection with a violent crime, then it would count all 3 people as having committed that violent crime. But even if we pretend that the statistic is that 13% of the population are convicted of 50% of the crimes. Being convicted doesn't mean you committed the crime, and you can commit a crime without being convicted. We can look at a similar statistic that shows that 13% of the population, the black population, get 50% of the exonerations for wrongful convictions. That means that they're over 7 times more likely to be convicted of a crime that they didn't commit. Prosecutors are more likely to press charges against black people than they are against white people, especially when it comes to violent crime, because it's easier to get convictions. Jury members, if they're anything like the people in these comments, see a black man and think violence. That means it doesn't take nearly as much proof to convince a jury to find a black man guilty of a violent crime. But when prosecutors see a person like me, they know it's going to be harder to get a conviction. So they'll offer me a plea deal where I can plead guilty to a lesser crime and just get probation, and they just get a conviction on their record. So if a black man and a white man commit the exact same crime, the black man is more likely to be charged with a felony and see jail time, while the white man will be charged with a misdemeanor and pay a fine and go on their merry way. This trickles down through the justice system, and police officers know that if they arrest a black person for a crime, the charges are likely to stick. A little more than 10 years ago, my wife and I lived in a place called Normandy, Missouri, in an apartment complex that was entirely black. Almost every day we would see someone get pulled over, they would be put in handcuffs, sat on the curb, and the police would search their vehicle. And we thought it was so strange that this happened so often. A few years later, the Department of Justice did an investigation into a nearby municipality and their policing practices and found that they were unconstitutional. It was the official policy of the police department to search the vehicle of black residents when they get pulled over for minor traffic violations. Black people were twice as likely to get their car searched, even though they were 26% less likely to have illegal contraband in their car. The report found that the municipality depended on the money that they got from giving people tickets to function. I remember on the first of the month, every month, a police officer would drive through the parking lot of our apartment complex at 30 minutes after midnight with a flashlight looking at license plates so that he could ticket every car that had expired tags. The report found that a lot of these violations, these fines, were given for manner of walking in roadway, literally walking funny. And 95% of these tickets were given to black residents.